Mr. Gregory Wayne Gunter.
How are y'all doing? My name's Greg Gunter. I come in front of you today because I'm concerned. I'm not angry. I'm not angry at the police. I'm not angry at the 1%. I'm concerned because our society is falling apart, and it's doing it quicker and quicker every day. I'm concerned at the arbitrary enforcement of laws that results in the bulldozing of a camp based on free speech and opening up a social dialogue by the very same government that guarantees us those rights. A camp that's sole reason for being is to bring people together to try and solve the problems of the society of which it is a part. I'm concerned when I see that half of every tax dollar gained in income tax goes to the military. We spend more money on killing ourselves than we spend on trying to research alternative forms of energy to get off oil, to avoid the impending oil crisis, or feeding the hungry and the homeless of the world. I mean, 20,000, we're in a mass extinction driven solely by humans' lack of understanding. 20,000 species a year die. It's all because of our misunderstanding. Whew. It's driven by kind of a perception that the planet's dead somehow, and so we make it in that image. It's a massive problem, but it's not one that is completely unfaceable. The only thing that really needs to happen is that we work together, that we all work together to try and solve it. And it is a crisis. You know, if we're to go along, if a group of people decide that they want, a large group of people start to decide they want to camp in a park for the sole reason of trying to publicly make a space for free speech and social dialogue, direction that's solving the problems of the world, and a city ordinance saying that you can't be there after dark is obeyed rather than the Constitution of the United States. I think it's based in a fear, kind of society is not made by laws. It's made by the hearts and minds of the people who are a part of that society, their dreams, their visions of this world. When a law prohibits people from supporting each other in any way, even like when you can't clap in the city chambers when somebody gives an inspired speech. It's a system made by humans that doesn't honor what it really means to be a human being. We've created our own prison just by falsely defining ourselves, you know? We confine ourselves when we make a system that doesn't, when a creator makes something for itself to exist in that doesn't fully reflect the reality of the creator, you've just put yourself in a prison.
30 seconds.
30 seconds? Okay. Well, I will say that don't be afraid to work together. If a constituency of the people of the society that you govern wants to find a way to solve some problems, and the best way they can find to do that is to camp in a park and put up signs to try and solve the crazy freaking problems that we deal with in this world, it's up to you to pay attention. Just pay attention. We want nothing but the best. Okay? We just want heaven, baby.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Please, no applause, please. You've been really good, and I appreciate it. You can do that all, that's good.
Mr. Selden Richardson. Mr. Selden Richardson.
Madam Clerk, could I ask if these be distributed to council, please? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the City Council. My name is Selden Richardson. I'm a historian here in Richmond, and I've asked to be distributed a new publication that has been produced by the Historic Richmond Foundation. It is exploring the various African-American neighborhoods and sites in Richmond, and it's keyed to a book I wrote on this subject several years ago. But I'm not here this evening to sell books. What I'm here is to remind council that there is a river of tourist dollars moving through this city day and night, 300 feet wide, and it's called Interstate 95. In these economic conditions, Richmond can ill afford not to be able to capture some of these tourist dollars that go through our city. We have so many resources here and so many things to share with people, and the plaque that you all received this evening, I think, is indicative of that, the power of that draw. I would ask that you all support institutions in town like Historic Richmond Foundation and the Black History Museum, who are largely bearing the weight of promoting African American history in this city. I think that, well, I would urge you in the strongest terms to get behind African American heritage tourism. It only makes good economic sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Ms. Colleen Owens.
Hi, good evening. I'm here
We
representing,
need you to identify yourself.
Colleen Owens.
Thank you.
I'm here representing the Richmond Tea Party. And we have many supporters here tonight that are also representing the Tea Party. Mayor Jones stated that he was a child of the civil rights movement, a movement that demanded equal treatment for all citizens. Did he mean that he expected that of the government then? But now that he is the one in power, rights are those that he can dole out according to his whim? A modern term that's thrown around today is social justice. And the problem with that term is that social justice is the law being applied according to who you are. Our country is founded on equal justice, which means applying the law no matter who you are, and that's why the symbol for justice is blindfolded. So that means that the law should be applied the same, whether you're rich or poor, black or white, occupier or Tea Partier. Selective lawlessness is corrosive when certain people have laws enforced against them and others just get a pass to do whatever they want. How can government expect people to respect the law once the faith in the law has been broken? Respect for the law is the glue for a civil society. Regarding Occupy Richmond and the Tea Party, based upon our information, it appears that the City of Richmond has treated these two similarly situated groups differently for no apparent reason. If there is a justification for this apparent different treatment, please provide it, and if no valid justification exists, then the city must take corrective action and reimburse the Tea Party for its expenditures on its tax day rallies. It's been 2 weeks since we delivered the invoice to the mayor, and we're here asking if the council will help us in getting this resolved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes, sir. Can we have no applause, please?
if I
Thank
could
you.
speak with Ms. Owens,
Pardon me?
if I could speak with Ms. Owens for a moment. I happen to agree with you. Excuse me? I happen to agree with you that, in fact, the two groups have not been dealt with equally nor fairly. You ought to get your $10,000 back. And we ought to make that,
I'm going to ask you one more time to please.
and we ought to make
Hands,
that
if you
part
could.
accessible to any and everybody who wants to stand up on their own idea, as long as it's lawful, their idea of their free speech rights. At 14th and Main, Madam President, there's a building that houses a group called America's First Freedom, housed right here in the city of Richmond. We need to protect those first freedoms. And I'm with you, and I'll get with you. I think you left the phone number here, because you're absolutely right. I wouldn't give a rat's what's the name if it's the Ku Klux Klan. You have a right to find some space to express your positions in this city. And for us not to have one is our fault. Well, we make the laws, and we can change the laws. So I'll call you.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. Thank you. Excuse me. All right, next speaker.
Ms. Dorothy Bruno.
Madam President, members of the council, my name is Dorothy Bruno, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Richmond Tea Party. What cost will taxpayers pay for the inaction of the city government for not applying and enforcing the park usage law? 2 weeks of park occupancy by Occupy Richmond activists ended when police removed occupiers and the Department of Public Works was used to clean up the mess left behind. A photographer was arrested for taking pictures of police during the removal and is now being offered legal assistance by the ACLU. The city government will be paying these bills with monies that could have been used for programs affected by budget cuts. Taxpayers are owed an accounting of expenses paid by not enforcing the law. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Whitney Whiting.
Hello, Council. My name is Whitney Whiting. I speak tonight as an individual of the Occupy Richmond movement, but I cannot speak for the movement as a whole. As a citizen of Richmond, I greatly appreciate the opportunity to stand here and use this space as a tool to exercise my free speech. However, when it comes to tools of free speech, the American people are being asked to play in an unfair game. Corporations are allowed to spend unlimited amounts of money influencing every level of our government, from county school boards to the nation's highest level of office. They are able to do this because the U.S. Supreme Court has effectively ruled that money equals free speech. I'm sure we can all see the contradiction embodied in that sentence. Our First Amendment is one of the most treasured pieces of our nation's identity, and yet it has been warped beyond measure. Money should never equal free speech. But unfortunately, this is what we, the people, are up against. At the same time that our Congress is bought by special interests, we, the people, are told that we can only be in public to speak our grievances during daylight hours, leaving those of us who are fortunate enough to have jobs right now with a very limited amount of time to have our voices heard. We do not have unlimited amounts of money. What we do have is our voices and our bodies. These are our tools. We, the people, the real, living, breathing people of this nation, should be allowed to exercise our First Amendment rights, to use the tools that we have at our disposal to our fullest extent, just as corporations are able to use their tools, their money, to their fullest extent. So long as we who assemble are peaceful, respectful to the space, and not putting others' lives in danger. Incidentally, on October 25th, one day after Richmond's last City Council meeting, the City Council of Irvine, California, unanimously agreed that Occupy Orange County's civil, peaceful use of tents on public property was an issue of free speech. One council member stated, "I do agree that you are expressing your First Amendment rights, and while I largely disagree with most of what you've said, by all means, if you want to sleep on our lawn, sleep on our lawn." To this day, Occupy Orange County is authorized by the City of Irvine, as are many others, including the nearby Occupy Charlottesville. It is well within our constitutional right to peaceably assemble in public at any time of day or night, and we will continue to stand up for the rights of all people to be heard above the amplified influence of corporate money. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ma'am, Madam President,
Yes,
I'd like
ma'am.
to ask her a question.
Ms. Whiting?
Yes.
Yes. Ma'am, I know you all had some demands today from the mayor. Can you tell me if they were answered or not? Did the mayor meet with y'all or speak with y'all or anything?
I believe not.
You believe not? Thank you.
Thank you.
The last speaker, Ms. Megan Neal.
To second that last question, I would like to ask of everyone in this room.
Excuse me, Megan, you have to identify yourself just so we have...
My name is Megan Neal.
Thank
I
you.
come before you as a concerned citizen, as a critical thinker, as a human being, as an occupier. I speak for myself, but not the whole movement. And my first question is, where is the mayor? I really, really, really just wanted to look him in the face and see if he could look me in the face and let me know that it really was all okay and his status quo was okay. On the duty of civil disobedience, formerly renamed simply civil disobedience by Thoreau, he opens famously with, "I heartily accept the motto that the government is best which governs least, and I should like to see it acted up to more rapidly and systematically. We make strange bedfellows here in this room together, occupiers and Tea Partiers alike, but we are all here bound by the same systems that you are. There are problems that are much bigger than just this community." I first became active in the movement because I was interested in exposing the curtain, the man behind the curtain for the Federal Reserve, for the private corporation that it actually was. But once I got more into the movement and I spent more time there, you have to really re-examine why you're doing something when it's that damn cold outside. And so there's a lot of things, and there's only another minute left, and I kind of have to rattle through them. But we need states' rights. We need manufacturing to come back to the United States. We need a return to glass and steel. We need a gold standard. These are all huge issues that are bigger than just the city council. But what we really need on a regional and a local level is a re-examination of our monetary systems, is a re-examination of our local economy and our local food production. And I quote a wise and dear friend when I say, I can envision something different and local communities who largely feed themselves. But really what it comes down to is the other night when there were state troopers and dogs and sirens and helicopters, what are you really scared of? We are you and you are us, and we are the people, and this government only has as much voice as we give it. So when you shut us down and we're sitting in a park and someone's standing up and they're saying, why are we scared to be in a park? We're legally allowed to be here until 3 o'clock. And all you hear is, whoosh, 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 whoosh. Park will be closing at 3 a.m. Park will be closing at 3 a.m. What the hell is going on? There's one common thread also that I would like to address. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. There is one common thread that I would like to address that is something that is perhaps a little bit larger than anything we've touched on here today, and that is that every inanimate object that we can see, from the pens in our hands to the synthetic fibers in our clothes, have something in common, and it is petroleum. And there are 7 gallons in every single car tire. There are 1 billion people in China. If every one of them were to have a personal vehicle, what would the world look like? That's everything.
Thank you, Megan. I think she's done.
Those are all of the speakers this evening.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Will you give us a review of the items on tonight's consent agenda?
Item number 5, ordinance number 2011-176, to amend the pay plan to award a one-time bonus during the fiscal year 2012 to certain city employers with the classifications of fire recruit, firefighter 1, police recruit, and police officer 1 who did not receive a bonus. Item number 6, ordinance number 2011-177, to conditionally rezone East Franklin Street from the M1 Light Industrial District to the B5 Central Business District.
You know, Madam Clerk, could you just wait about, take about a 3-minute break while we clear the chambers? Thanks.